So I think it's pretty fair to say that new Pokemon games are really divisive. Everything is debated online, from the story, gameplay, characters, region design, so on and so forth. But the one constant I'll still give the series to this day is that with each new Pokemon generation, the designs are still very cool. I'll go ahead and self-report that I'm mostly a modern Pokemon hater, but even I can't deny how much I love a lot of these new creature designs. I didn't even play Scarlet and Violet, but it just looks so full of awesome new designs. And I'm not even just talking about the sick Paradox Pokemon. Squawkabilly, Grafaiai, Scovillain, Tinkaton, Reverum, Houndstone? These are all just super, super solid creature designs that stand out just as well as Pokemon always have. Even the new evolutions they add are really cool. My best friend, he loves Annihilate just based on concept alone, and he hasn't even touched a Pokemon game since Generation 4, aside from me forcing him to play Pokemon Showdown. However, one thing I've noticed is that there aren't many Pokemon based on Western cryptids, which you'd assume to be a huge source of inspiration for the games. I'm sure many Pokemon are based on Japanese cryptid like Dunsparce, but I figured some more Mons based on folklore beasts my fellow Americans would be more familiar with would be much appreciated. So for this video, I just want to pick some iconic cryptids that I think would make really fun Pokemon, either in terms of their visual design, real-world history, personality, or just from a gameplay standpoint. This is going to be a bit of a ramble fest since I didn't have much of an outline or limitations for this video outside of make cool Pokemon. So bear with me a bit through this. I do also want to add before getting into it, do you know how hard it is to make a bunch of cryptid Pokemon and not make them dark types? Like half of every cryptid is either sinister or hides in the darkness so they can lend themselves to the type extremely well, but I tried to refrain as best I could with only 3 dark types from the 7 lines that I made. Now starting off, I wanted to work some cryptids into a few staples of the Pokemon series, so let's begin with a starter trio. Firstly, our grass type, Braxseed. Braxseed is the flying seed Pokemon. It is based directly on the Flatwoods monster from Braxton County, West Virginia. This mostly comes down to the visual design, since there are already plenty of alien Pokemon, notably Elgium and Beheeyem. The main design through line I want to go for is the leaf head crest, since it's probably the most iconic visual about the monster. Braxseed itself is just a small seed that wanders about to seek a good area to plant itself for further growth. After some time wandering around, the lost seed begins to wilt and develops more leaves as its legs become too weak to carry itself. Now as wilted, the wilting seed rides the wind to find its final location, now much more haunting in appearance. Finally, as the grass bug type, Withwoods, the gliding seed has become the host of an insect colony which has formed a nest around the seed, which they protect as a joint unit. The Flatwoods monster parallel is the most obvious with its final form through the dress of leaves and the nest midsection. In terms of gameplay, I can see Withwoods as a special attacker or support Pokemon with a strong grass and bug moveset, including things like Leaf Storm, Petal Dance, Bug Buzz, and Quiver Dance. I also think you could reasonably give Withwoods some of Vespiquen's signature moves, such as Attack Order, Defend Order, or Heal Order. Defend and Heal Order in particular would be the most useful, but if you give them those, you might as well give them Attack Order too. For its hidden ability, I think Wind Rider would be pretty appropriate and can protect Withwoods from some devastating flying type moves. I love the concept I had for it, and I really like the way the art turned out. Although a bit simple at the start, I feel like it ends pretty well. I really like the way it kind of progresses from a natural grass type Pokemon to, oh, it's an actual Flatwoods monster now. And now with our grass type out of the way, we can get into the fire type, Billyglow. Our little Billyglow here is a small goat Pokemon that has a honestly very depressing origin, much like the Jersey Devil which it's based on. Billyglow often start their lives in misery, as many young are abandoned by their mothers. The exact reason isn't fully understood, but speculation can be made. The main theory is that the young Billyglow have a body heat that's unusually low for their fiery mothers, while other Pokemon would find their heat uncomfortable, leaving these poor newborns alone for most of their upbringing. This leads them into evolving into the Lonesome Pyram, which actively rejects other Pokemon, and often are one of the hardest Pokemon to train due to this nature. Finally, the Somber Pyram evolves to the more sinister Fire and Dark type Kindevleaves, which has mastered fear itself, to afflict others. Indevleet's most common strategy is to cause their fire to burn at a frequency that sounds like a screaming woman and use shadows to make it seem gigantic. Indevleet's personality lends itself best to a fast special sweeper role, where it can quickly unleash fire and dark type attacks like Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Nasty Plot, and Dark Pulse. As for its hit ability, I would say Intimidate, but we've already seen what a Fire Dark starter with Intimidate can do, so I'd also say Unnerve would work too, even if it's not as powerful. I know this one was a bit more depressing than the last, but honestly, when looking at the Jersey Devil for inspiration, I kind of got stuck on its horribly tragic origin of being cursed by its own mother before it was even born. And now, up to the last of our starter trio, we have the water type, Dolpogo. Dolpogo is a water starter who's more based on a variety of cryptids than a specific one. But specifically, the many sea serpent style cryptids like the Loch Ness Monster and the Ogopogo. Dolpogo are very cautious herbivores that feed on plants from the shorelines while living on riverbeds to avoid detection. Their peaceful nature leads them to being an easy target for poachers, which has forced them to move deeper into waters for protection. Due to their defensive needs, Dolpogo evolves into Shamrosian, which has a much tougher hide that also doubles as a more useful camouflage while on the riverbed. Shamrosian's neck also gets much tougher for stronger headbutts and can even extend it out like a spring for a greater attack range. Lastly, the final evolution, the water rock type Plesiogo, has their durable hide develop into a rocky exterior for the ultimate defense and offense. The sturdy armor also coats the head for an even more devastating headbutt attack. Plesiogo is most suited for a defensive and tanky role in a team. A bit slow, but it can be decently consistent as a physical tank with moves like Aqua Ring, Wave Crash, Head Smash, Head Charge, Skull Bash, or Body Press. For Plesiogo's hidden ability, there are a few I can see working, mostly Battle Armor, Shell Armor, or Rocky Head. Battle and Shell Armor would play to the defensive nature of the mon, while Rockhead could help it offensively. While a bit simple, I think these ideas came through decently enough, but looking back now, I really wish I added more Manatee influence to the visual design of this line. Either way, we can move into some other generational archetypes I like a lot. Starting with a regional bug, Hornworm. I want to start off by saying that the main series has an absolute ton of different bug type Pokemon, so making our Mothman-inspired bug type stand out proved to be a bit challenging. I think the abilities of the design are pretty interesting, but I'll leave all of that opinion and stuff up to you, I guess. Hornworm is a small alert bug Pokemon that can be easily identified by its dark hairy coat and bright red eyes. Hornworms have an acute sense of danger and are renowned for their evasive abilities. After feeding to completion, Hornworm cocoons itself into a Lurtva, which remains on the underside of tree branches for the best position for their bizarre hunting methods. This method involves sensing prey directly under the hanging Alertva and dropping down for their tough exterior to knock out the unsuspecting Pokemon before devouring them. Through this ravenous cycle, the Alertva will eventually emerge as the massive Alarmoth. Alarmoth is one of the largest species of bug-type Pokemon, but are rarely seen due to their abilities to detect their surroundings and seemingly the future even. Many people are superstitious of these dark bugs, since many times they can be seen near places that are soon to suffer a great disaster. For their gameplay, I can see Alarmoth as a good support mon that has decent speed and a wide moveset for debuffing or disorienting the opponent in different ways. Silk Trap, the different powder moves, Parting Shot, Memento, Dark Pulse, Hypnosis, Magic Coat, or even Future Sight for a strong thematic attack. Based on the line's focus on detection and seeing the future, they can have abilities that try to reflect that. Anticipation, Forewarn, and either Telepathy or Shield Dust as a hidden ability, with Shield Dust more playing on the line's thick black coat. I like this one a lot in concept, but I feel like the final evolution leaves a bit to be desired in the visual design department. But for the life of me, I can't figure out what exactly I wanted to do with it. So honestly, please let me know what you think of it in the comments and how you would like to do your own Mothman design for Pokemon. Up next, though, we're going to have our regional dog Pokemon, which plays on the Chupacabra. Chupa is a small psychic dog Pokemon that struggles to hunt, so it primarily relies on its psychic abilities to paralyze their prey. It's only referred to as a dog-type Pokemon due to its body shape and diet, but its body is completely hairless and almost reptilian, making its true nature mostly undetermined. After growing more desperate for a food supply, the pup evolves into Chakabra, which becomes much more ruthless as it gains the dark type. It's the last one, I promise. Chakabra has increased psychic abilities, which allows it to drain mental energy directly from their prey. This doesn't fill them much, but it is enough to survive on. The Gaunt Pokemon still prefers to attack directly, but it can also express its mental powers physically whenever it needs to. This would best show in the games as Chakabra being a decent mixed attacker with physical dark type attacks and special psychic attacks. But it would be lacking in durability. Crunch, Jaw Lock, Lash Out, Night Slash, Agility, Psychic Noise, Guard Split, Psychic, and some different Fang moves for coverage would make a pretty good mix of physical, special, and utility, I think. Due to a mix of the nature and abilities of the mon, I think Unnerve, Strong Jaw, and Defiant as a hidden ability would help the moveset in different ways. Unnerve and Defiant would help passively to control the opponent some, or just boost the Pokemon itself, while Strong Jaw would support the Fang attacks with a Stab, Crunch, and Jaw Lock. Ultimately, I wanted to mix the two common depictions of the Chupacabra into one with more fantastical ability set, and honestly, I think I did do just that. Now for our last of the archetypes you can expect in a generation, I wanted to do a regional bird that I was pretty passionate about making. Alright, for our regional bird, I obviously had to go with the Thunderbird. It's an iconic cryptid, and it comes from a lot of Native American legend that we can draw influence from. I thought it'd be best just to keep it as a single evolution Pokemon and keep things pretty simple. And I have a bunch of different evolution lines here, so I want to keep it pretty straightforward. Here we have Electroc, a mixture between an eagle and a hawk, just kind of playing on the various birds in America we have, and electric because it's the Thunderbird, obviously, and it's going to be an electric type. The Thunderbird is a massive bird, very visually distinct from anything that came before it. Its wing beats are said to resemble the sound of thunder itself, clapping. I can see this Pokemon being a very fast special attacker with a lot of really strong electric moves, although I can also see it getting plenty of decent physical and special flying type moves to aid it, since it would be an electric flying type, naturally. And I think this one, it was pretty simple because I just had one Pokemon, not a whole line, but I still try to keep its visual design pretty interesting. I think I ended up doing decent enough, but if you have any critiques of that, please let me know. I was trying to make it unique. I had some other Pokemon pulled up for inspiration, but I don't know. I was just kind of worried about looking like I was copying it too much. But overall, I think it turned out pretty well. All right, and that's the last of our regional archetype kind of Pokemon. So now we're gonna move on to a couple freebies to end the video off on. Just really fun designs I want to come up with that don't really fit into a theming. Alright, our next Pokemon is going to look a bit more like a regional form, but is, in fact, their very own parasitic Pokemon. The Ghost type, Nightlet. Nightlet is a bundle of lost spirits that gather together and possess Diglett to wander the land of the living during the night. These are based directly off the Fresno Nightcrawlers because I think they look just incredibly funny, and they're already pretty Pokemon-shaped as is. The possessed Diglett remains completely unaware of the spirits using its body, except for a groggy feeling when waking up afterwards. If an even greater number of spirits group together, they can evolve into Trio, which in turn needs to possess a larger body, Dugtrio being the most prime candidate. Unfortunately, the mix of emotions from the Dugtrio can often cause the Trio to act incredibly erratically, and can even make it go berserk. This could make it play as a physical attacking ghost type, which would be pretty unique with moves like Phantom Force and Shadow Sneak for stab, and some kicking moves like Blaze Kick, High Jump Kick, and Mega Kick for just some fun flavor and coverage. When thinking of an ability for this mon, I thought of making an ability that boosts the power of kicking moves would be cool, but I decided to just pick from some pre-existing ones. For that, I think Hustle and Insomnia would make a lot of sense for Trio's erratic nature, with Cursed Body making a cool hidden ability on a thematic level with the Lost Spirits cursing the opponent. I like a lot how these goofy little fellas came out, and I definitely use one of these on my team because I know that they would definitely not be very good, but that's just how it goes with Pokemon. Now, the last Pokemon I have for you is based on the most famous cryptid of all. I want to start off this last section by saying this is probably my favorite concept I came up with for this vid, since I wanted to work a lot of different Sasquatch types into one line. Plus, I think it's the one that came out visually the best. Timafoot is a small, big-footed ape Pokemon that hides in bushes and tall grass out of fear of being detected. Its feet are also strong enough to crack large stones, but it rarely fights due to its instinct to hide away. Timafoot is a small, big-footed ape Pokemon that hides in bushes and tall grass out of fear of being detected. Its feet are also incredibly strong enough to crack large stones, but it rarely fights due to its basic instinct to hide away instead. Timafoot can evolve into 3 different forms based on the areas it spends a lot of time in. Mainly grasslands, snowy mountains, and swamps. When evolving in grassy areas, Timafoot evolves into the normal type Sasprinch, which focuses on its powerful legs for running and attacking. Sasprinch can run so quickly that it eludes even the most skilled hunters, while also being strong enough to easily kick down fully grown trees. Evolving in snowy areas will result in Vice-Leti, an ice fighting type tank that aggressively pursues anyone who crosses into their territory. Vice-Leti are skilled fighters from breaking through frozen mountainsides and can even channel the cold through their fists. Lastly, while in the swamps, Timafoot evolves into Marshcape, which are much more defensive and retain their pre-evolution's fearful instincts. Marshcape have developed a strong stench to ward off anyone seeking them, but most of the time they just hide themselves away out of shame for their stench, really. Each evolution prioritizes a different playstyle, Sasprinch being a speedy physical attacker, Vice-Leti being a tanky mixed attacker, and Marshcape is a defensive debuffing special attacker. I can see each having some signature moves to show off their playstyle, a Stomp and Mega Kick with Quick Feet or Steadfast for Sasprinch, Hammer Arm and Freeze Dry with Defiant or Sheer Force for Vice-Leti, and Spikes and Sludge Wave with Stench or Thick Fat for Marshcape. I really liked the way that these guys came out, since each looks incredibly different from the other forms, while still sharing some linking traits, almost kind of like an ape Eevee parody to a degree. Alright, that's all the cryptid Pokemon I have for now. I hope you enjoyed getting to see the different types of Pokemon I could come up with based on some beloved American cryptids. If you had any cryptids that you would want to see in this kind of style, please let me know in the comments or whatnot. And I don't know, maybe I'll make some kind of part 2 or something if I feel up to it. Probably not. It's more like a one-off thing. But if you have anything similar to this that you'd like to link, feel free. I'll share it on whatever I can. My Twitter, Newgrounds, and whatnot should be in the description if you have anything on there. If you just like to see the art by itself, it'll be on those accounts so you can see. I want to apologize a little bit for if the audio quality is kind of spotty in this video, because I just moved, so I'm trying to figure out how to do the acoustics in my office space now. Now that I have an office space, don't have to record in the closet anymore. But yeah, and apologize for anybody, I guess, who, if I have any subscribers who follow the channel frequently, I want to apologize to you guys specifically. I appreciate checking out the videos like you have been. I've just been like trying to figure out what to do with the channel and whatnot, and what kind of videos I want to make, and with my job and stuff, it just makes it stressful. I guess I don't know. I appreciate all of you guys. All of you guys. I hate saying that. I hate you. I hate you. I'm sorry. I appreciate you specifically for checking out the videos. If you check them out as much as you do, or just watching this one in specific, I hope you enjoy it and want to check out any of the other stuff I've done. I've done plenty of drawing videos like this and whatnot. And yeah, thanks for watching all these. And I'll try to get a better system for this. I think it's been a couple of months since I last uploaded, and I really want to do more. I want to upload more frequently. I really do. It just, I don't know, finding the time and the energy is just hard these days, you know. But I think that's all the ranting I had in me that I want to get out there. So with all that, I want to say thank you for watching the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment and all that if you'd like to. And I hope to see you in whatever I put out next. So with all that said, I think I'll see you guys in the next one.